We're gonna go live.
We have fun here.
Do we?
No,
We do.
it's terrible, miserable. Only the ones that are smiling have fun.
Only the ones that are asymptomatic.
Only the ones that are Yoda like. Did you know? Fun fact. You're live.
Oh, am I?
She's been
Is
saying
this on?
live.
She just said it.
Tell me if you want good.
I've been threatening to go live forever.
All right. Are we seriously starting now?
Yes, we're live.
Listen, we all waited for you long enough.
Really? Because this one is All right. Welcome back to Rise of the Morning. On the count of one.
Golf clap.
Today, these are spirit fingers.
Peace, fam.
The super serious lecture. These super serious people are going to be going over car tax, or do more pay taxes in general. So what we're gonna need for this lecture is my handy dandy assistant, Tom. All right. My handy dandy other assistant, Juju. We're also gonna need a book called blah blah blah. American Constitutional Interpretation, Second Edition, edited by Walter F. Murphy, James E. Fleming, and this other guy.
The other guy.
We're also going to be referencing, what does it say right next to
Constitution of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantation.
Because when we're talking off the camera, you mentioned how when we show some of your friends more stuff, oh, more are just out looking for trouble. Even though we're about to talk about taxes, and then we're going to reference this and see what the Rhode Island Constitution says. Not what we're saying. We're not saying. This existed before I was born. This existed before you were born. This existed before everyone in this room was born. So, if you don't have a physical copy of this, just Google Rhode Island Constitution or Google whatever constitution for the so-called state that you're in. I have the Rhode Island Constitution up on the board. And before we start, Rasad's going to do the things he read at every meeting.
All right. We read every meeting. Moors are men, upright, independent, and fearless who care for their loved ones and follow the prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain nor unknown. They are fortified and impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is therefore fully at its greatest height for smelly culprits with their insidious plans to invade such a realm. They try, but their own bad plannings bring down their wrath upon their heads like restored, undumped, old Thomas.
It's Greek. We're not Greek.
Yes. All right. Cunning, find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors. This is so because the Moorish movement has been well planned by Prophet Noble Ali, whose latent powers are abundant, unknown, and may be called into action as a matter of defense at any moment. Prophet Noble Ali knows the people within his ranks who are interested. They are the vanguard of the movement as the Moorish hordes increase here in America. All of the Moors are active, not passive. A member's interest can only be in one direction, and having traveled over the road years before the prophet knows where every member. A member's interest can only be in one direction, and having traveled over the road years before a prophet knows where every member is along the road. If you keep the law is another road where extremists work, where traders grade and culprits fast in the sun. They think they are on the same road as true Moors, but the Moors are high above on the pinnacle where they might do the destructions as they called for the last time, and their bones roots in the sultry midday sun. Hungry scavengers flying high, catch snip, devour, and leave crying out. Caveat emptor. Cast out the dead carcass. The Moors high above see these plotters, herbivores, in the words that exit, hurl themselves downward by their own works as a hawk's wing. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me in the movement, now by the same people on our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now since I have found out from the government officials in the nations of the earth that this is the only hope our nation, that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens. They are working every sheen that they can to disqualify me so that they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all of these to you. I have notified all of these to you movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do in the present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet of Israel. To the members of the Moorish American, the Moorish Science Center for American, Islam. This is the instruction for you, Prophet of Israel. Be faithful unto your forefathers, divine and national freedom, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I know Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear. At least they will be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear morning, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag up the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love for Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice your utmost of your every life. You sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine national principles of your temple. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, noble drawing. The prophet warns all Muslims to be ready in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be severe. It will be of severe consequences. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must take its course. Any member of who remembers who hold malicious failings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds, and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophets, they should turn in their card in button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, find you. This is a holy and divine movement, founded by a prophet, noble Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and temple. This is an everlasting movement, founded by the prophet to the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, noble Ali.
So, we're done with taxes. The prophet said enforce the Constitution. We're referencing Rhode Island's Constitution. Let's just read the preamble and then the Declaration of Certain Constitutional Rights and Principles. So I'm going to put the link to this document in the YouTube chat so people can read along. Also, I found it right here. So it says, we the people of the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, grateful to Almighty God for the civil and religious liberty which He has so long permitted us to enjoy, and looking for Him for a blessing on our endeavors to secure and to transmit the same unimpaired to succeeding generations, to ordain and establish this Constitution of government. Article 1, Declaration of certain constitutional rights and principles. In order effectively to secure the religious and political freedom established by our venerated ancestors and to preserve the same for our prosperity, we do declare that the essential and unquestionable rights and principles hereafter mentioned shall be established, maintained, and preserved, and shall be of paramount obligation in all legislative, judicial, and executive proceedings. What does that mean? That this is the supreme law of the land, right? So, since the topic is taxes, let's go scroll on down, Article 13, and I did a video on this a while ago in my mom's basement.
Is the audio any better for anybody?
Pow. So, Article 13 online is the X with 3 eyes next to it. Article 13, Section 5 of this Constitution, Round Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, right? That's what it said. And all legislative, judicial, and executive branches of government have to abide by this. Section 5 says local taxing and borrowing powers. It says nothing contained in this article shall be deemed to grant to any city or town the power to levy, assess, and collect taxes or to borrow money, except as authorized by the General Assembly. What does that mean? Nothing contained in this article shall be deemed to grant to any city or town the power to levy, assess, and collect taxes or to borrow money, except as authorized by the General Assembly. So what does that mean? To who? No, to who specifically? It says right here.
City or
So no city and no town should say, you owe taxes. But what do? As soon as you buy a car, what would they say? You owe excess tax on your motor vehicle from the city of Providence. Because I've gotten that in the mail. So now with the car, right? Buy the car. Then they're charging us for registration. Then they're charging us for insurance. And then they're charging us for taxes. My insurance when I had my car was $275. Then the insurance quarterly was $246. How much money is that? when we studied just basically the federal constitution, Article 1, Section 10, no obligation shall be placed on contracts. Then Article 20 of the Declaration of Human Rights, which states that you can't be forced to associate. And then when we deal with Article 17 of the treaty, merchants can buy and sell at free will. That means you can't be forced to have insurance. Meaning you could be saving that $275. And then according to this Constitution, it says no city or town can collect taxes. Therefore, you shouldn't be paying no city of Providence, city of Kentucky, city of Princeton, town or whatever, any 246 notes quarterly for taxes. According to this, right? That has nothing to do with what I'm saying. But let's read it again one more time. One more time. Again, let me put the link in the chat. So, MOORS making it up. You just go ahead and look at the Roman Constitution. Article 13, Section 5, local taxing and borrowing powers. Nothing contained in this article shall be deemed to grant to any city or town the power and set and collect taxes. What does that mean? That means no city and no town can ask you for taxes. That's what that means. Or borrow money from you. That's what that means. Except as authorized by the General Assembly. Who's the General Assembly? The General Assembly are the elected officials who the people put in place to create laws in the state of Rhode Island. So only those people can say this town can say this city can do. People agree to. So all these people talking about, well, I have to pay these taxes. Did you vote in the European corrupt system? That's why. Because the Constitution says they can't do it. But since you think this is a democracy, you're electing Democrats, and your vote don't matter. This is what it is, exactly. So what's the remedy to that? Original discovery. What's original discovery? I'm wondering where you got that power from. The Constitution says. Right? So let's look at an example of original discovery. I know they can't see it. Can you turn that?
Yeah.
Please? So not only can you be saving 270 something bucks a month by not paying insurance and putting that in your own trust fund, you can also be saving about 240 bucks a month or a quarter by not giving these municipal cities and municipal towns anything because they have no power to do so. Right? So in this writ, you just start by, blah, 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 from, insert your name, X row, because they always send the excise tax to a strong name. Then insert, for city of province, his name is Johnny Murphy. About in relation to excise car tax, motor vehicle tax. Then you put the date. This is the MOORS calendar date, which you can get from this website right here. I'll put that also in the chat.
Angle the camera. Thing it shows just at the bottom.
Oh.
So that's where you get the date,
What are you talking about?
the MOORS date, in conjunction with the Roman calendar. So it'll say, look, November 2018 is this month. Not even technically. There it is. Then basically you start by saying, dear so-and-so, let's just say Johnny Murphy, because he's the city tax collector of the province. To all whom presents this shall come. I have received in my mailbox a letter containing information in regards to excise car tax / motor vehicle tax. They call it a motor vehicle bill, but it's excise tax. You can read the actual document that they give you. For 2016, it was like black and green writing. I don't know what it is now because I'm all right. In regard to the automobile, in possession of it, doesn't say that you own. It says you're in possession of it. Because by law, you don't own it. You can't own it. You don't have the title. Then you put the vehicle identification number, right? In this letter addressed to the strong name, it is demanding that the amount of whatever amount is to be paid quarterly or whatever they say. So you're showing how they say they address it to the strong name, but then you put I'm in possession of the vehicle. See how you separate it? So you're already separating different jurisdictions. You're already clearing it up. This is putting your status on record. You know how to make the distinction in your mind. That status, mental confidence, not somebody's faith. Right? In an attempt to deal in good faith and credit, right? That's constitutional. I am exercising my constitutional right to discovery on this matter and charge you with answering the following questions for this matter in court before a court of law and equity. So what am I saying? We have to answer these questions before we can move further in any direction at all. According to Article 13, Section 5, local tax and borrowing powers of the Rhode Constitution, right, which we just read, it states what I just read. Nothing contained in this article shall be deemed to grant to any city or town the power to levy or set and collect taxes or to borrow money, except as authorized by the General Assembly. Considering you are an agent of the whatever town, blah, 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 whatever, provide the book entries from the General Assembly, whereas they agreed that you, insert their name, and your office have the power to lay and collect taxes, which when we went to City Hall in Chicago, they showed us book entries, didn't they? If you go to any city or town, they will show you the book entries of these people voting on things. So show me that. You see how your son doing? Putting them in check. If you're trying to collect anything from me, show me where the people agree that you can do this. And that's not even mentioning that we're not citizens like ourselves. So we're in them with layers of different types of jurisdiction right now. So the first question is dealing with subject matter jurisdiction. Right? The number two is provide proof that I, insert your free national name, am a citizen of the municipal, city, or town of whatever. So you guys prove that you have the authority to tax money. So now that's dealing with personal jurisdiction, or jurisdiction of the person. Right? Then number three, clarify if you are stating that I, free national name, the natural person, is the one that you or your agency are demanding taxes from, or if you are demanding that strong name owes taxes. So who are you talking to right now? Because I'm in possession of this automobile, not the straw, because the straw doesn't exist. So who are you talking to? Right? And number 4, clarify if you are asking for USD as payment of this alleged debt or gold and silver coins. So what are you asking? Then that's basically the discovery. Now you hit them with some additional facts. If you or your agent cannot answer these 4 simple questions within 14 days or however much time you want to give them, based on your default, you admit that you and your agency have no constitutional ground to demand taxes from you. That's simple. Of course, if I was indeed operating in commercial capacity within your jurisdiction, then I would be liable to pay taxes, but I'm not. To clarify everything, I know that if I was in your jurisdiction, then I would be liable, but I'm not in your jurisdiction, so I'm not liable. Just like the Chinese people can't come here and just tax us for doing business. We ain't Chinese. Right? Proof of this is evident upon failure to prove that I am a citizen of your European colony. Let's just do this for an example. Right? Just go to Google. Let's go sos.ri.gov. Secretary of State of Rhode Island, right? Government, right? Just click on that. Let's click on civics and education. Let's click on Rhode Island history. This says the name of Isle of Rhodes is found used in a legal document as late as 1646. In 1663, the name Colony of Rhode Island in the province of Antiquity was adopted in Rhode Charter granted by King Charles of England. So what did I say? Colony of Rhode Island, right? What did I just say? I'm not a citizen of your European colony.
You just put it down.
So Rhode Island is a colony, is it not? Confirmed by who? The Secretary of State, right? That would go here. So can we be citizens of a European colony? Because King Charles of England, that's England. Right? Does that say America? King Charles II of England. That doesn't look like America to me. England. That's how I spell America. Let me put this in the chat as well. Put that in there. Pow, 5 fingers. So I'm not just saying things out of my mouth. I know what I'm saying, right? I'm not a citizen of the European colony because that's what Rhode Island is. Let's just go back to it again real quick. Yep. Rhode Island Department of State, Nellie Gorbea, Secretary of State. Yep. Rhode Island.gov. Yep. What did I say? Pow. In 1663, the name colony of Rhode Island, the province plantation, was adopted in the Royal Charter, read by King Charles II of England. Who does King Charles have jurisdiction over? English. Europeans, right? Oh, retail skins European? Oh, okay, cool. So that means we can't be citizens of what? Out of Rhode Island, which is a European colony. Okay, cool. Just making sure that these basic fundamentals are basically understood. Basically. Right? Further proof exists in the very definition of what an excise tax is. According to law, excise is defined as an inland imposition paid sometimes upon the consumption of the commodity and frequently upon the retail sale. So we're dealing with commerce, right? We're dealing with commodities, you're dealing with retail sale, which is commerce, right? So if you're in your car and you're going to your grandmother's house, not commerce? It's not, right? If you're in your car and you're going to work, it's not commerce? But if you're in your car and you're working, is that commerce? Yes. Cool. Right? And excise has been defined as meaning tribute, custom, tax, tollage, or assessment, a fixed, absolute, and direct charge laid on merchandise. So now we're dealing with merchants, right? Which is what? Commerce, right? Products or commodities, commodities, without any regard to amount of property belonging to those on whom they owe, or to any supposed relation between money expended for public object and a special benefit associated to those by whom the charge is to be paid. An excise is an impost for a license. What is license? To pursue certain callings or to deal in specific commodities or to excise particular franchise. Right? Let's go into the definition, or let's go into an explanation. Right? My automobile is not a commodity, nor is it used for commercial purposes. Which, when you go to And I entered the contract and I was in the line. And part of the contract it says, well, this automobile is used for a personal use. It doesn't say commerce because those are options. And when you purchase the car, those are options that they give you. So if it's not in that contract, then they're telling you it's not for commerce. Yeah, yeah. They ask you all those things. Will you be using it for work? Will you be using it for family? Like, what are you using it for? So if you don't know that, you ain't gonna get this. which that's telling you, even then with them, that they know this. That's why they're asking you. Right? It has also been established by law that no citizen needs permission, which a license is permission. And excise has been defined as an impulse for a license to travel on the road or operate their private car or automobile. It's also been established by law that that if one is not operating within a commercial capacity, then he/she and his or her property is therefore not subject to taxation nor licensing, i.e., commercial regulations, codes, statutes, acts, nor commercial laws. Persons are not the subject of commerce, and not being important goods, they do not fall within the meaning founded upon the Constitution of a power given to Congress or any General Assembly within any state according to their Constitution to regulate commerce and the prohibition of the state for imposing a duty on imported goods. Then I go into case law, which says an excise tax is an indirect charge for the privilege of following an occupation or trade or carrying on a business. So if you're traveling to grandma's house, are you following an occupational trade or carrying on a business?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're just going to your grandma's house, right? So should you be taxed for that? No, according to what they're saying. This is United States versus Philadelphia. Is that what Jamal's saying?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What else does it say? The right to park or travel is the liberty, the right to park or travel is a part of the liberty of which the natural citizen cannot be deprived without due process of law under the Fifth Amendment of the United States, Kent versus Lewis. So people like to argue, well, if you're driving in your car, you have to be taxed, you have a license. But this case just said the right to park and travel is the liberty of the people, and you can't be deprived of that without due process, which a license is permission. So if you have that right, that means you don't need permission to do it, because it's your right. The right to personal liberty is one of the most sacred and valuable rights of the people and should not be regarded lightly. State versus Zolanticus. A right which is free and open to all is not subject to a license or tax. So if you have the right to travel, you can't be imposed with excise tax. Not only that, but this says Article 13, Section 5, that no city or town can collect taxes from you. So whichever argument you want, you're going to win. You can go just this Constitution, or you can go with any of the state statutes. It's the same thing. Because it's based upon the Constitution. More case law, blah, 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 blah. Then, continuing, law is a system of rules that are created and established as a guideline for humanity, a set of moral and ethical principles set by those before us to help guide the human race. Government's sole duty is to secure the people's pre-existing rights and liberties. As an example of this is the power given to Congress to regulate commerce. This regulation of commerce was not only established to protect those who are conducting commerce from torts, injuries, and the like, but also to protect those persons not within the jurisdiction of commercial regulations. So again, if you're doubting anything that I'm saying, let's just go back to what our Constitution said at the beginning. It says that in order to effectually secure the religious and political freedom established by our venerated ancestors and to preserve the same for our prosperity, you declare the essential and unquestionable rights and principles hereinafter mentioned shall be established, maintained, and preserved, and shall be of paramount obligation all legislative, judicial, and executive proceedings. That's exactly what I just said. So am I making this up? No, because this existed before I was born. Last time I checked, 1663, 1646, 1836, way before I was born. No. Then more state decisively. When therefore one devotes his property to a use in which the public have an interest, which is commerce, right? He in effect grants the public an interest in that use and must submit to be controlled by the public for the common good. they're submitting their stuff to commercial regulations. Is that not what that is? Right? To the extent of the interest he has thus created, meaning his own limited liability. This is me just saying this, right? To find this, you can go here. I'll drop the link in the chat. Again, pow, 5 fingers. Here we go. Pow, drop the bomb on you. This is caselaw.findlaw.com. So this isn't Jamal stuff. You can look this up on your own, right? And this was, yeah, exactly. And this was the Supreme Court Supreme Court, Bud versus New York, arguing November 17th to 18th, 1891. I was born in 1992. So this is way before me. And it was decided February 29th, 1892. So again, before my birthday. Meaning this is just a before I am. So it's not, we're not making this up, right? So go to case law, blah, 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 right? You'll see it right here. United States Supreme Court, Bud versus People of State of New York, right? 1892. Let's put that in chat. Scroll down 5 minutes. Where was it? So when you scroll down, you see that in this court case, so in this case, they're doing what? They're referencing other cases, which Moore's or fatwa, which they call common law, or res judicata, which they're decisive. It's all the same thing. Right? It says that in this case, Zanesville versus Gas Light Company, 1889, it was said by the Supreme Court of Ohio that the principles was well established that where the owner of property devotes it to the use in which the public have an interest, he in effect grants the public an interest in such use. It must, to the extent of that interest, submit to be controlled by the public for the common good, as long as he maintains the use. And that such was the point of the decision in Munn versus Illinois. So now they're representing 2 other cases within this case. Not only that, but they mentioned another case, the Munn versus Illinois, which says the same thing. And above that, it says the same thing. In the Court of Chancery of New Jersey, 1889, in Delaware, it was held that the legislature had power to declare that the services warehousemen should render to the public and to fix the compensation that might be demanded for such services. And the court, blah, 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 blah. Basically, what they're saying is when you're conducting commercial activity, you have limited liability, meaning you should be administrated by commercial regulations. But if you're not operating in that commercial capacity, what is not applied? Commercial regulations. Is that complicated? No, it is not. Can you find this easily? Yes, you can, because I just dropped you the link in the YouTube chat. Is Jamal making this up? No, because this existed before Jamal was born in 1889. I was born in 1992. Didn't matter. You say 1892, shut up. This is me searching sentence. This is twice in the time. This part of lesson. Now, continuing with this case law that we're dropping on these people through discovery, right? Further, considering excise is an obligation, lawfully an obligation is formal and binding agreement. What does that mean? When you hear the word binding agreement, what do you think of? Signing your name on what? A contract. So when you see that an obligation is a formal and binding agreement, that means a contract exists somewhere, doesn't it? So, okay, since that's what that means, right? Thus, you and or your office would have to provide a contract with my signature on it. They can be obligated to pay any commercial tax. How simple is that? Because you just explained it to yourselves, right? What is a binding agreement? A contract. Didn't they just say excise tax is an obligation, right? Which is a binding agreement, right? So show me a contract. Because if you can't prove that I'm a citizen of your stuff, then no contract exists. If you can't prove that I'm operating within a commercial capacity, meaning I have contracts with you, then an obligation doesn't exist. So then again, are you liable to pay taxes?
Everybody's saying they can't hear you.
Your voice was.
The decibels aren't going anywhere. Yeah, it might be that.
Yeah, no. Facebook. Did what? On Facebook? No. You hear me on Facebook? It's on my phone. It's coming to from there. You put yourself? You took this. So good to see everybody. Always. Let's recap. We're talking about car tax. Like in 2016, I got a letter from the city of Providence that said I owe them a motor vehicle tax on my car, and they call it excise tax. So I went over in the Rhode Island Constitution, Article 13, Section 5. It states that nothing contained in this article shall be deemed to grant to any city or town the power to levy, assess, and collect taxes or to borrow money, except as authorized by the General Assembly. So when anyone gets anything from the city of Kentucky, the city of Providence, the city of Cranston, the city of Johnston, the city of whatever, check the Constitution of that. Which is what finance is. Which obviously common sense tells you that if you're not capacity, what does not apply to commercial law or commercial regulations or statutes or rules or acts. So continuing, right? Is he actual? Obviously, our obligated taxes used, then I would be injuring my community, as it is important for all citizens to pay taxes to their corporate entities, on government, and pay the officials to protect them, right? Right? Obviously, right? But this only works in an equitable system, right? If it's a fair system, then it works, right? Once the de facto Congress established the Federal Reserve Bank and began to have the United States Treasury Department print its Federal Reserve notes, the agents thereof removed all equitable, fair, good faith opportunities for anyone to make any real money by dominating the market to an extent that most, if not all, businesses and governmental agencies who depend on the citizens' cooperation and taxes to ensure its function and operation on North American soil only accept said private commercial paper, which is a direct violation of the Constitution. Now, can you go ahead real quick? We have my other little assistant read something from this book. Thank you, sir. Can you put on the record what's the name of the book?
This is the American Constitutional Interpretation, second edition. Walter.
Right.
Soterios, oh, that guy. Barber.
Now, does that say Jamal anywhere on that?
No.
Okay, so this isn't my book, right? Okay, what page are you on?
I want to. Section C.
What does that say?
Interpretation.
Okay, so this is about the Constitution, right? Okay, can you read the title, please?
Nowhere in the document.
Wait, which document?
The Constitution. Nowhere in the document, for instance, is there specific authorization for Congress to found anything like the Federal Reserve System or even a bank to enable it to discharge its fiscal responsibilities, create a national police force like the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or establish an agency like the Federal Communications Commission to regulate use of airwaves by the mass media.
So what does that tell you about the Federal Reserve Bank, the FBI, and this other system? They're what? They're unconstitutional, which means what? It's not lawful, which means what? It's legal, which means what? You have to enter a contract with these people for them to have jurisdiction over your affairs. Is that not what that means? Is that coming from Jamal? Or is that coming from that book? Written by these. Was that actually?
Nobody can hear.
Not only is this telling you that they can't do that, they can't do what they're doing, but this is telling you that they can't do what they're doing. And then that Supreme Court case that is showing you, they're also telling you that they can't do what they're doing. That's us. And they can't. I could send you something in the mail and say, hey, Rashawn, you owe me $11,000 in taxes. And then you can write a check to me. Now, did I rock it? Oh, okay. So, these cities, they say, oh, you own this. And I remember when I got,
You say, okay.
yeah, I remember when I got the bill, so-called the electric bill in the mail, and I owed excise tax. I was like, and they had an account number. I was like, I never made that account number. Like, how do I owe anything if I never made this account number? Like, that's like, I'm gonna open up an account and say, oh, yeah, you own it. Does that make sense? So how come more people are falling through this okie doke? It doesn't make sense. So then again, you're agreeing to something that doesn't make sense. So then can you say, oh, you owe me something now? If all they did was say, oh, you owe me something in the mail, and then you gave them money, and then you get that money back? Why? Caveat emptor, right? May the buyer beware. May you know what you're doing. Because the universe is what? Mental, which means what? You're dealing with mental competence. So if you're not competent to be doing something, don't do it. Oh, mic check. Oh, mic check. Oh, mic check. Echo. Great. So I just exposed how, yes, in a fair system, I would be obligated to pay you taxes. Yes, because government is dependent upon the citizens participating in that. That's law. But if you made the system or the platform corrupt and broken and one-sided, I'm no longer obligated. Right? So continuing, since the people cannot pay taxes in gold or silver, then there is no loss nor injury to the people, nor the government itself, because the creators of the private commercial paper can print as much as they want, because it is only paper and ink, and only has value to those who believe in it and give it value. Therefore, any request for taxes in Federal Reserve notes, i.e. USD/fiat, etc., should be made to the Federal Reserve Bank or the United States Treasury Department to allocate enough paper to fund all municipal and state de facto agencies to administer government in the absence of gold and silver coin fairly, justly, and equitably provided by the people participating in fair, honest, just, and equitable trade once the government begins to actually represent them, not unlawfully demand that which would injure them. Is that basic? Is that complicated at all?
No.
Was that confusing? What did I just say? Just summarize it for yourselves.
No taxation without representation.
Cool. How else can you explain that?
They can't unjustly ask us for anything. So what are you doing for us with this money? Why do you have the authority to ask us for it?
When you print
And yeah, what do we yeah.
Like, what's happening? What are you doing? Like, if can you hand me my book, please? If I'm government, right, and I'm like, can you pay me taxes? And are you confused about law books? I print this.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you don't have to work for me to get this book and then give it back to me. Which means what? I control your life, right? That's exactly what's happening. And it's not complicated. Right? So now, what I also put in this writ was, see United States Code Title 12, Chapter 13, Subchapter 12. You had it. Subsection 401, issued to reserve banks, nature of obligation, redemption, right? So we'll just do this online. I'll drop the link in the chat again. Because this is not my information. This is stuff that you can search on your own. This person gave this to me again.
You didn't make this up?
No, I didn't make this up. I'm sorry.
God.
It says Federal Reserve notes to be issued at the discretion of the board of directors of the Federal Reserve System with the purpose of making advances to Federal Reserve banks through the Federal Reserve agents as hereinafter set forth and for no other purpose are authorized. The said notes shall be the obligations of the United States. What does that mean? What does obligation mean?
Contract.
Is this their debt to pay off because they took away the gold standard, so they took on the obligation to repay whatever debts were created in the USD.
Yep. So let's just Google obligation, an act or course of action to which a person is morally or legally bound, which is what? A debt, an obligation, a tax, a contract, meaning you're responsible for that. So since you took the people's gold, they're fair and just equitable, medium of exchange.
What
Since
they
you took all of
agreed
that,
was money.
since you took all of that and gave them paper, you therefore take on their debt, and they accept it. They admit it right here. They didn't swindle. They didn't swindle people.
They
They said,
agreed to it.
I know,
you see what's outside? It says what? Cash for gold. And what do people do? They go in there, they give their gold up, and they get paper. Because remember, all law is contract. The universe is mental. It's what you agree to. Which the people agreed, didn't they?
It lined up and
That gets me all the time in the city.
And that in turn affects their prosperity because now we have nothing. It's that simple. Oh, give us your gold and we'll give you this paper. It was that promise, that illusion of they're getting something in excess. Now let's look at this right here. Actually, it's in my book. Let's go to Are You Confused About Law? Let's look at Mr. Rothschild's energy discovery.
I'm sure it was.
It definitely was not his.
It was not his. What page is it?
I might not have the entire quote.
Somebody said Canaan land doesn't use FRN, but obviously still fiat does that. Case law still relevant.
Yes, because if it's not gold and silver, then it's not money. Yeah, so this is on page 54. Mr. Rothschild's energy discovery. I'll read the whole thing. What Mr. Rothschild had discovered was the basic principle of power, influence, and control over people as applied to economics. Now, aren't our problems largely economic? You can't afford to do crap, right? That principle is when you assume the appearance of power, people soon give it to you, which I just showed you when they say, "Oh, you owe us this car tax." They're assuming that power, and then the people what? Give you the fiat, right? Mr. Rothschild has discovered that currency or deposit loan accounts had the required appearance of power, not power, appearance of power that could be used to induce people, inductance with people corresponding to a magnetic field, into surrendering their real wealth in exchange for a promise of greater wealth. And what do they call these Federal Reserve notes? Promissory notes, right? So you give your silver and gold, and they're giving you a promise. They're selling you a dream. And our dumbasses fell for it. Because we see a stack of paper, and we see one coin, when that stack of paper isn't even worth that one coin. So we give up that one coin for a stack of nothing. And then when you look at the Bible, right? The selling of the birthright for a pot of clay or whatever, it's the same thing. They would put up their real collateral in exchange for a loan of promissory notes. And now we see all these cash for gold, right? Same thing. Mr. Rothschild found that he could issue more notes than he had backing for. Meaning what? You got one coin and you're printing millions of notes, right? So long as he had someone's stock of gold as a persuader to show his customers, meaning he's showing everyone the same stack of silver and promising everyone all of that. Which is fraud, right? Mr. Rothschild loaned his promissory notes to individuals and to governments. This would create overconfidence. Then he would make money scarce, tighten control of the system, and collect the collateral through the obligation of contracts, negotiable instruments, bonds, certificates, mortgages, liens. The cycle was then repeated. These pressures could be used to ignite a war. Civil war, war against Islam, genocide against our people. Even against themselves. Yeah, even against themselves. Then he would control the availability of currency to determine who would win the war. Who they're backing, who would submit to them, that's who would win. The government, which agreed to give them control of its economic system, had his support. Collections of debts was guaranteed by economic aid to the enemy of the debtor. The profit derived from this economic methodology made Mr. Rothschild all more able to expand his wealth. He found that the public greed, let me just read that again. He found that the public greed would allow currency to be printed by government order beyond the limits of backing in precious metal or the production of goods and services. You see all these rappers talking about what? I'm chasing money, I'm chasing the bag, I'm chasing paper, and they call it paper. That's taxes paper. Meaning they know it's not money. They're saying, right? Let me read that one more time. He found that public greed would allow currency to be printed by government order beyond the limits of backing in precious metal or the production of goods and services. So our people we like to blame just them, meaning, but it's our greed that demands the supply. So how about we stop demanding it?
Somebody said, I love these sessions.
We love you.
And Tariq Bey said, peace, can I use your book in my class today? Not saying I will, but I wanted permission before I did.
The book is yours. Just say, I'm reading from this book, and then you give me credit.
Mm-hmm.
But also things that I source in here, so I'm giving the person credit. So don't think that it's just my stuff. So yes, you can use it. You go. Right? Energy is recognized as the key to all activity on Earth. Natural science is the study of the source and control of natural energy, and social science, theoretically expressed as economics. It is the study of the sources and control of social energy. Both are bookkeeping systems, mathematics, which is the IRS, tracking how many idiots are giving them fiat, their own fiat that they can print at will, meaning how many people they're controlling. Therefore, mathematics is a primary energy science, and the bookkeeper can be king if the public can be kept ignorant of the methodology of the bookkeeping. This is where you hear Tashreeq Bey say that they created a kingship oligarchy, meaning only the rich stay rich. That's this. That's why all of these people, all of these politicians, congressmen, statesmen, they all wear this in secret, even the black ones. This, meaning they know this. And who ain't they telling? The people they represent. Because they know that the people are docile and submissive, so they're just going to do whatever these so-called politicians think. Not y'all in the room, guys. When we went to see, I'm not going to say his name, an individual running for a certain position, we talked to the people around him, and a lot of them admitted, we have no idea what government and civics is about. We're just here to support this person. Mm-hmm. So that means anything that person says, good or bad, putting them in servitude, they're just going to
blindly follow
because they don't know and they admit it. Why are you doing something that you don't know nothing about? So now you're agreeing. So whose fault is that? So, cool. So again, the bookkeeper can be king if the public can be kept ignorant of the methodology of the bookkeeping. But it's very simple. They can print as much as they want. You can't. Then when they ask you for it, they're controlling your life. It's not that hard. Based on if they're taxing your family, my family, right? If the taxes is $10,000 and they get $10,000 for each family, that means what? They have complete control over each family. Or is that not what it means? But if they only get $10,000 from one family, that means what? They lose control, right? It's not that hard. It's not complicated at all, right?
Shout out to Z. Paul Thomas. He said, I discovered this channel Thursday. I'm hooked. It's all still foreign to me, but I want to learn.
Well, you can get this book on risingmore.org. All science is merely a means to an end. That means is knowledge, which they've been doing well around people. That's stupid, right? You want to hide something from a black person, put it in their book. So why does everyone know that? Because it's a true statement. The means is knowledge. The end is control. Beyond this remains only one issue. Who will be the beneficiary? Meaning, who will be in control? All science is merely a means to an end. All science is a means to an end. Right? That means is knowledge, meaning the acquisition of knowledge. The end is control, meaning knowledge is power. Right? Beyond this remains only one issue. Who will be the beneficiary? That's why they hoard knowledge. That's why they do index librorum prohibitorum and index librorum expurgatorius, which they teach us history is the book burning. Index meaning a list, LeBron of books prohibitorum that are prohibited, meaning blacks can't get this information. Index LeBron expurgatorius, right? They're not exposing this information, right? They're not going to expose it to the people. That's where you get the Masonic lodges and the hidden groups and the secret societies. That's what that is. And then when you look up the encomienda system, which is what they did in Spain, they did the same thing here with the MOORS here in America. It's the same thing. What they do in Spain, they burn books. What they do in America, they burn books. When you go to Providence, south side of Providence, which is where our people are, 501c3 public libraries. Come to this one, the Moore Library, with the Europeans, they got, this ain't no 501c3. And the quality of books here is vastly different. This is private. I'm not sure if it's a private library.
Why is doing this?
Because the 501c3 is what they use to suppress us. Because in order to be 501c3, you have to be under the IRS. And they put certain restrictions on that library.
And they also,
that's exactly what it is.
They also, in order to even use any of the rooms or anything, you have to have a Christian agenda.
Yep.
And you can't be opposed to that. So there's a lot of tight rules.
Which you will not find, like if you go on Broad Street, right? One side of Broad Street is Providence, the other side is Cranston. Go to the side of Providence, compare the history books, the William Hall Library, completely different. We get trash. We get garbage.
Just like the grocery store. You go to the grocery store in the hood where you live, you get garbage. You go to one, 6 miles away in the European neighborhood, and you get all the good
price rate in Fall River is the worst.
Yep. We get Walmart, they get Whole Foods.
Yeah.
We get crappy dictionaries, 501c3 libraries, they get good quality stuff.
Mark D said, love your brothers and sisters, constantly doing the work, giving it out to the people and teaching.
We love you too. And our people call that racism, but it's Inquisition operations. Index LeBron prohibitorum, Index LeBron expurgatorius. You can just look that up on Google and they'll tell you what it is.
Can we mix Islam with Buddhism?
Yeah, because it's all the same.
And somebody said they love the Fez, sis.
It's Latin. There it is. It's raw. I don't even gotta finish it. It just pops up. Just sound it out and it'll pop up for you. Drop it in the chat. Yeah, pop in.
It's insane. Remember we went into that library? We were looking for spaces and we went into a library in the south side and there was only a children's section. Like all the books in there were children. Yeah, there's only children's books. The whole building. I just could not believe that that's all they had.
Ready to go back on topic?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so again, who will be the beneficiary? Who gets the real knowledge? Who doesn't? So that determines who's in power. Because in order to be in power here, you have to understand the rules of this country. You have to understand the nature of law, and free will, and free choice, and contract, and agreement, and all those contracts, universal methods. You don't get that. And you're gonna mentally suppress yourself, and soon the European walks in, and you're automatically gonna associate that person with superior status because he knows more, she knows more, which is exactly how people do. Doesn't matter if you want to face it or not. They do it. Because every time they on a phone on the interview, they put on that so-called white person voice. They already know. They're submitting to them. And then they call that European what? Their boss. Boss means what? Master.
They just made a movie about this. On the phone, the white people.
Yeah, this is true. Face it or not, it's there. Right? In 1954, this was the issue of primary concern. Although the so-called moral issues were raised in view of the law of natural selection, because if this was an even playing field, we would be way past the Europeans. That's just a fact. That's why they work so hard to keep our youth stupid. They don't even hide it. Again, that certain individual that was running for a certain position said in an interview that at Hope High School, where our Asiatics go to, right, only 12% of the people can read at grade level. How did 12%? The school's 95% Asiatics, what they call 95% minority, which is again a spell because minor means infant of the mind, meaning you're mentally incompetent. So our people know it, But then they see this and will reject it. And they say the same exact thing. It's so true. You can't handle it. You're a coward or whatever the issue may be. You turn your back on the truth. Oh, no, I don't. Yeah. A lot of our people
Everything is messed up. Everything is broken. None of it works.
Mm-hmm.
The buckets with the catching the water in the hallways. Yeah.
That's the whole life.
Mm-hmm. It's not meant to be.
Remember I told you I dropped my godson off at school to pre-K and they make them put everything in a plastic see-through bag
When
now?
they go to jail.
Yeah.
That's what they do in
It's
jail.
insane.
Yeah, when they lock you up, they take all the your pockets, they put it in the bag, and write your name on the side.
Yeah, that's how they have to do it now. Pre-K. Everything goes in a clear plastic bag, and each student carries all their stuff in the clear plastic bag, and they put it in their cubby. It's like training, training for indoctrination.
And if you want to say, well, we can vote for their system, you're an idiot. Right? So more issues were raised in natural selection, but it was agreed that a nation or world of people who will not use their intelligence, refuse to use their intelligence, are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. Such people are beasts of burden and stakes on the table by choice and consent. An example of this is when the city of Providence sent you an excise car tax, even though the Constitution says they cannot do it, and you pay, you refuse to use your intelligence, and you agreed. That's what that's saying. Therefore, no sympathy is paid for you. You agree. You keep agreeing. And you keep agreeing. And you keep agreeing. And then you say, oh, why did they take so much taxes out of my paycheck? But you keep agreeing. You keep signing that W-4. So who's really at fault if you're agreeing? Oh, but they have an army and we don't. So now you're afraid of them. I thought you were ancient and Kemetic and the God and gods of the planet and we used to rule and I'm a divine being and I'm saved. I thought you was all of that. So what are you afraid of? If you're all of that, how are you afraid of that? How does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? Why not?
If you're up here, if you're so, if you want to call yourself,
You got it, about it.
yeah, if you really walking around here talking,
Like just like all these rappers talk about how they're so gangster, they're gangsters after the ball.
as soon as the police come through,
I seen a local rapper record how the police just bombarded in their house and they didn't do anything. But they were rapping how hard they were. Like, what? How does? I'm confused.
Only to their own brothers and sisters.
Elaborating that with the, it's natural to be, so but like what they portray in their videos as being like the tough guy or whatever, it's pretty natural for us to be like, like have like a superior feel about us. So imagine like collaborating that with having like knowledge. So that's what they're super scared of us. It makes it.
Yes. Imagine we talk these so-called hard dudes and women that protect your family. And here's the law
right now.
Do it.
No, we will find out who's hard. How many times we've been to court and there's like 30 sheriffs all around us, bigger than us, bigger than us.
Yeah. I forget how many.
Somebody said Moore's G checking.
This footage of our people like taking selfies with the cop from like 30 feet away. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You look like a coward. What are you doing? I digress. Back to the point. I'll read that one more time. It was agreed that a nation or world of people who will not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. That sounds like a fair statement to me. When I first read this, I had to put it down because I was all emotional. Like, this is so ugly and how cruel. But now I see it. I showed you the Constitution, right? If you then go ahead and pay the city of Providence any car tax, you're an idiot. And you agree. You made that conscious decision to do so. So should I feel bad for you? No. If I tell you Stop going to court and answering to that straw name that you know is not you, and then you keep going, and they hold you somewhere. Should I feel bad for you? Because you agreed, didn't you? Because you agreed by showing up, right? Right? Is that a moral issue, or is that you messing up? That's a personal issue. That's a personal problem, isn't it? Right? It was agreed that a nation or world of people who will not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. Such people are beasts of burden and stakes on the table by choice and consent. Consent, legally. What's up? What are you feeling?
Right now,
Yeah, what are you feeling? You're breathing up.
angry.
Why? Feel free to express it. I get it. They're giving us a crappy quality of education. It says to put us in an inferior position. But then you also have to look at it this way. How many Asiatic leaders claiming to be a doctor, claiming to be an activist, claiming to be a chief, claiming to do this and that for our people who know this and don't tell us crap?
Mm.
Let's be honest. I felt the same way. I felt that this is destroying my mother, my grandmother, my father, my sister. That's true. But you have to always look at the other side.
I'll tell you what.
Okay?
Yeah,
You want to express what you feel because this is important.
I know. It's just the fact that this information is out there and a lot of people don't know about it. It just makes me angry and sad. And the fact that people get suppressed from this information is just.
That's why we have a job.
We do. We have a duty to ourselves and our people
Mhm.
to tell them this, no matter how hard it
And then
is.
when that cognitive dissonance kicks in and they are fighting you
Mhm.
or trying to slander you, it's like you're doing this for them.
I'm letting this sink in because people don't think this is real life. They don't think that we're human beings and we don't have emotions just because whatever it is that they think. This is real life. Everyone's family is affected by this, not just ours. So for us to be up here and say something, for our own people to reject it, you're this. You're a beast and burden in a stake on the table by choice. What is wrong with you? Consequently, in the interest of the future of world order, peace, and tranquility, it was decided to privately wage a quiet war against the American public, with an ultimate objective of permanently shifting the natural and social energy, wealth of the undisciplined and irresponsible many to the hands of the self-disciplined, responsible, and worthy few. And let's be honest, how many so-called men do we know that will put gold fronts in their teeth, have Gucci this, Gucci that, and sleep on a couch with dishes piled up in their sink? Let's be honest.
And Jordans from the countdown pack that
Let's be
cost
honest.
over
Let's be honest.
$600.
So is this statement, is this morally unjust? Nah. If you want to put gold fronts in your mouth, have polo this, polo that, Gucci belt, new Jordans, and you sleep on a couch, poverty is your fault. If you want to be in a trap house and you have to sell crack to get by, and the first thing you buy is a car with rims, and you still live in a trap house, whose fault is that? If you're going to sell crack to your own people, whose fault is that? We all know family members who say, I'm going to sell the drugs to my family because if I don't, then someone else is getting that money. So now what are you doing? What are you doing?
How about you protect your family from those drugs?
But then they say, oh, but the white man's bringing it in. Yeah, they're bringing it in. Who's selling it?
But who's keeping it here? Who's opening the door to their home?
In order to implement this objective, it was necessary to create, secure, and supply new weapons, which, as it turned out, were a class of weapons so subtle and sophisticated in their principle of operation and public appearance as to earn themselves the name silent weapons, which one of these silent weapons is the car tax, the mortgage, driver's license, the beauty supply, beauty salon license, the barber's license, culinary license. That's all silent weapons for silent wars.
You got me with that. I forgot you need a license to do here.
Yeah. Our culture.
I better tell my auntie something.
I better tell your mom.
Got it illegal.
In conclusion, the objective of economic research was conducted by the magnates of capital, banking, and the industries of commodities, goods, and services, in the establishment of an economy which is totally predictable and manipulatable, meaning they know what? Every Black Friday is going to make this much.
I don't think this year.
Huh?
It wasn't too bad this year. I worked with.
People are boycotting. They're starting to
Not
wake
that
up.
many people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good sign for us.
Because I went, because I was looking for something, I would buy it
Mhm.
cheaper than that. Too much.
But I mean, not just Black Friday. Every Christmas they know something. Every
Right.
Valentine's Day they know something. Every 4th of July that's how they're basing it off of the ebb and flow of nature.
Like the retail world, like they use like there's some deals where you're really paying more, but because of the
Yeah.
wording, it's just
Yeah.
it's like buy two, the second one's half off, and
Yeah.
it's like you're really paying more.
Because
Because you didn't need that second one. You're just buying the second
but
one.
the cost of them to make it is so low that any amount is just crazy.
Right.
Sometimes they raise the price a little bit on the first one you get.
Yeah.
So when you buy it, it's basically you buy it the same price. not
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
more.
And then again, those who refuse their intellect.
Like we even have Chinese people come into our store and they buy a whole bunch of Yankees hats, and they say they go back in China and sell them for like $100.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the same thing. A lot of the Africans I know, they take it back home and they ship it in a barrel, and then the store at home sells it like crazy hotcakes because it came from America. Mhm. They sell a bunch of Walmart stuff.
I've seen that in Colombia, and they're selling, like European clothes, Abercrombie. And
No, not even Target. Even Target or Walmart, it goes for a lot just because it came from here. So they assume the quality is better. Or we buy all our stuff from them.
Those over here, they don't sell, they sell them over there.
Wow.
Sell them over there, they sell them to people, and people sell them over there in the streets and stuff.
That's crazy.
Is that I always found that odd. Like why they have all the resources. We're getting the stuff from their textile companies, from their manufacturers, and then they come here and buy
But
it
remember,
and sell it back because it came from
The
here.
Liberian judge, he said they have all the resources in Mali,
Mhm.
Africa, but they don't have the intellectual capacity or the manufacturing companies to make it there.
Yeah.
They have all the resources. Then they come here to the other side of the empire. We make it,
Mhm.
and we send it back to them, and then they buy it because they're leaders of sellouts too.
Yeah.
So like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So whose fault is it? Our leaders are sellouts, and our own people are sellouts. Whose fault is it?
Yeah.
Because then we just keep following them. And then I heard my mother say, when I was trying to explain some of this stuff to my mother, she said, Mom, I already know all these politicians are corrupt, I already know it.
Mhm.
That's why she don't vote in this corrupt system.
Mhm.
So our people get it to an extent.
Mhm.
This is just hard facts that some people can't handle it.
And what they get is it's just enough to get them like some of them, it's enough for them to keep going with the knowledge. Some of them, it's some of them think it's just the way it's gonna always be.
Yeah, sure. There's multiple people. I was speaking to one of my cousins. He said, I see some of the stuff you're saying, but I don't look more into it because it'll get me angry. I'm like, yes, get angry, but get past it because we need help. That's what happened to me.
Sometimes the fire-
I cried too when I first read this.
It's-
God is my mind.
Sometimes I feel like the fire that
You
the
learn
anger.
more, you know they're playing the game on you. So
Yep.
you have to learn the game.
Like the anger you get from it, I kind of feel like you can regenerate that energy into something else.
Something useful.
Yeah, like something
Yeah.
like
Like a book.
yeah, like you get mad, so you're gonna be like, oh, so now I'm really good. You can really fight your aggressor instead of saying like, all that other stuff that they think they're fighting back.
Yeah. That's why when I write these writs, I say obviously. I'm so sarcastic because that's me fighting them. To me, that's me, like personally. I'm writing this writ. Whenever I write these writs, I feel like I'm saucing these. I'm stunning them in my mind.
Words of swords.
Yeah. To me, in my mind, I'm stunning them,
Mhm.
and I'm making it so simple that anyone can get it. And that's what makes us win.
Word warrior.
My pen is my sword.
Let me continue. In order to achieve totally predictable economy, the low-class elements of society must be brought under total control, i.e. they must be housebroken, trained, and assigned a yoke and long-term social duties from a very early age before they have an opportunity to question the propriety of the matter. In order to achieve such conformity, the lower-class family unit must be disintegrated by a process of increasing preoccupation of the parents in the establishment of government-operated daycare centers for the occupationally orphaned children. That's called parents' portrait. Meaning, we have solar energy, we have wind energy, we have energy of the waters. So much so that no one should be paying anything to live. But we're going to put a price on your electricity bill, your sewage, and your water. So you leave the house. So now your children come to our indoctrination camps and we just repeat the cycle. Mm-hmm. That's what it talks about in the Willie Lynch manual of that orbit that pivots on its own axis or whatever. It's self-propelling, it's self-inducing. That's what that is. They're telling you, they don't hide it. They're telling you. And then you can just Google John D. Rockefeller, that quote in 1913, see what they said about not teaching us crap. Then go to downtown Providence, right across Brown University, which their crest is this. Mm-hmm. Brown University crest is the crest of the nice bar. Go across the street, their library says John D. Rockefeller Library. Are they hiding it?
That's what it's trying to call a Telsa.
Yeah.
Telsa was trying to make electric
free energy.
Free energy.
Yeah. Because it is free.
Rockefeller didn't want.
All they pay for, all they do is they pay the people to make sure that the systems are good. Energy is free.
It's not stuff, but it's more than
it's just maintenance.
It's more than free.
It is more than
it's just there.
Yeah. The sun is look, the sun is there again. Just like every other day.
If you go on the sun,
yeah, exactly. And we went to Home Depot the other day. Some Asiatic walked up to us was like, oh, Home Depot will put 40 solar panels on your house for free.
Wow.
But it's still hooked up to National Grid.
Yeah, for whatever reason that it still needs a little juice here and there. Like that's insane.
They just want you to pay for something that you can get for free.
And
they literally buy. It's illegal to buy or make solar panels and hook it up and just collect your own energy. That's illegal because they want you to.
It's also illegal to collect rainwater too. It's ridiculous.
Be specific. They're calling it illegal.
Yeah,
It's color of law. It's not actually illegal. Yeah, from the sky.
It's illegal.
We can't.
Exactly. Right.
You know what's crazy? They say they hook up the solar panels to National Grid because in case of power outages and all that stuff. I've been on islands that are considered third world countries,
right.
And they have they have the solar panels on the roof and everything, and it's fine. Like it's not a concern that the power is going to go out, and they don't have as much equipment and backups as we do.
Do you know how cheap those materials are to make a solar panel?
And I was like, well, what happens when I said, what happens because you guys get all these tropical storms? What happens when the energy goes out? And they're like, it comes back on. We got batteries. So the solar panels charge the batteries, and then it'll get fixed. And we'll just be off the batteries for a while. Yeah. Yeah. Get a damn candle. Yeah, they're like, get a damn candle. You're gonna survive the night. Yep. And I'm from New York. I've been in blackouts. It's
right.
Like they make it like it's a big.
Full of candles.
Yeah, they make it like it's a big deal, and it's like, but did you die?
Very cool. Yeah,
some water. You gotta wash it.
Our people are so smart. I seen somebody take the candles. It was on Instagram.
You put them in a clay pot?
No, candles, and take the stove, the rack out of the stove, and place it on top of candles so they could cooking up, cooking whatever they need. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done that camping.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for hours.
Yeah, also if you put a candle under a clay pot, it provides so much heat.
Yeah. Because the clay Always.
Right.
Right there.
So the Moors in this room, we gonna be surviving.
Yeah.
We gonna be alright.
That's what I got for him. I got cans and a lot of toilet paper. So probably alcohol.
I'll be fine. Vaseline too. What's it? Vaseline.
Crayons will burn for hours.
I see.
The wax.
Continue.
Please.
So, the quality of education, please,
Please.
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 The quality of education given to the lower class must be of the poorest sort, so that the mode of ignorance isolating the inferior class from the superior class is and remains incomprehensible to the inferior class. With such an initial handicap, even bright lower class individuals have little, if any, hope of extracting themselves from their assigned lot in life. This form of slavery is essential to maintain some measure of social order, peace, and tranquility for the ruling upper class. And once you see these so-called chiefs, these so-called democratic black so-called leaders, they're working on this principle. That's why they never teach you anything. They never give you reference points. They'll just say how much they know. They'll appear so intelligent. They'll say these words that you don't know, so that when you see them, you just think power. And you give them that power. Now they're the gatekeeper. And now they protect the Europeans who are robbing you. Because they're robbing you too. Because now they're in a compromising position. And the brain is like self-defense. So if you attack their system, you're innately attacking them because they're part of that system, which is robbing you, and they know it. Son, your local activists. And all of that is dealing with car tax. So continuing. I just read this, I put in the chat with a Federal Reserve note is the obligation of the United States. Right? Furthermore and lastly, if you are in fact claiming that I, insert your free national name, in fact owes taxes, then you, as the accuser, bears the burden of proof. As of now, the records show that I do not owe any taxes to any government that does not represent me, nor any other government that does not have any lawful contracts with my name on them, nor any government who is unconstitutionally demanding taxes and the like, and will not be willingly submitting any amount of pecuniary, monetary, or other form of compensation to any entity that has not lawfully substantiated their claims unless I willingly agree and see fit, as it is my constitutional and treaty right to contract. This is my good faith attempt to clear up any misrepresentations or confusion concerning this matter before taking any further actions. A failure of the aforementioned entity or representatives to respond within the allotted time upon receipt of this written nature of discovery will be deemed a dishonor of this notice and demand for disclosure. And allegations in an affidavit in support of motion must be considered as true in the absence of a counter affidavit. Okay, last question. The moving party bears the initial burden of proof, burden of establishing that there are no genuine issues of material facts, which it may accomplish by demonstrating that the non-moving party lacks evidence to support an essential element of its case, meaning the accuser bears the burden of proof. Also, this is something talking about treaty law. I'm not going to read all of it. Treaty laws. Treaty is the law of the land as an act of Congress is whenever its provisions prescribe rules by which rights of private citizens or subjects may be determined, meaning the treaty is the supreme law of the land, and it interferes with any state or municipal codes, acts, and statutes. State statutory provisions must yield to any applicable provisions of any treaty of the United States with a foreign country, constituting a part of the supreme law of the land. And again, use that find case or findlaw.caselaw.com that I put in the link in the chat to look this up for yourself. So you see, it's not me saying this. treaty lawfully entered into stands on the same footing of supremacy as do the Constitution and the laws of the United States, and it is generally self-operating, meaning you don't have to call it into force. They should already be honoring it. But the issue is we're dealing with criminals, so we have to enforce it. Now, how do you enforce law? I'll rephrase that. Who enforces law?
Our government, our people, us.
The people. Because when you say policy enforcers, who are they? People. So who enforces the law?
We do.
People. Now, what happens when you're dealing with someone who's corrupt? How do you enforce the law? You get more people. And what's the punishment for treason? Death. Now, do you imagine this? 100 people demanding that the city council in whatever city honor the Constitution, or else you'll be dealt with accordingly. Do you think that they would have the balls to keep doing what they're doing to our people if our people knew this information? That they have the right to demand that any person, anyone, I don't care who, even if it's me, the people have the right to demand that that person be hung, killed, shot by firing squad, whatsoever, whatever, for violating the Constitution, because that's treasonous. Because if they're unlawfully demanding taxes from you, that means they're doing it to you, me, your family, 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 my family, your mother, 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 your grandmother, your grandmother. So that's treason, violating the entire nation. That person deserves to what? Be gone. And that's not me saying it. That's the law. Look it up. Let's do this real quick. Let's look up punishment for treason. United States Code. Whoever owns allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemy, which they just said they're declaring war against us, right? Okay, cool. Giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere is guilty of treason and shall suffer death. United States Code, Title 18, subsection 2381. The law is just before we were even born, didn't it? So those people who've been killing our people on the streets, what should their punishment be? Not pay time off. What should it be? Now here's a problem. Here's a problem. A major problem. When we went to Chicago, we were told that the municipal cities of Chicago killed a so-called black person. Then they gave that person's grandmother $5 million to stay quiet. So instead of demanding before the public knew, so instead of demanding that these people be hung, they were paid off. So whose fault is it? If we don't enforce the law and we keep accepting these buyouts, these payoffs, whose fault is it? Ours. Because we don't do what? We don't enforce the law. These people should be hung. Hung. I'll let that sit in the air. So hold on to that. All these Europeans kicking in our families' doors, stealing our children, forcing us into the ghettos, gentrification, unlawfully taxing us, killing us in the streets, all of that is treason. Keeping us dumb with these terrible schools, which you said they look like a school, buckets collecting rainwater, that's genocide. What should happen to you? Death. They know what's happening. That's why they put so much energy into directing our energy somewhere else, like the Black Lives Matter movement. Instead of focusing on jurisprudence and nationality, they're gonna give you the versionary argument. Exactly. They're gonna divert or revert your energy somewhere else that goes nowhere. It keeps the wheel spinning. So they don't get hung. Because once the people finds this out, it's a wrap. That's why they do so much propaganda. Agents hopping on our Facebook, agents hopping on our YouTube, agents working for the state, talking about they don't work for the state, even though this contract with their name on it and the European state, saying whatever that they're saying, that wars of this and wars of that, because they'll be hung too. Now this is just car tax. And what's the punishment for that? For treason. Death. Imagine. They collect $240 from you quarterly. And you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's just 8 people. I mean, what's 8 times 240? All right, so it was 7 times 10 more.
That's over 16,000.
Now, how many people
17?
are in the state?
Mm.
And this is quarterly.
And look at our school.
This is quarterly. And that's only car tax.
Hmm.
Tax on your house, your job, toll tax, when you buy stuff, when you buy food,
Mm-hmm.
I don't get why.
your business,
Mm-hmm.
treasonous, death. Keep that in mind. I'm not saying go out and kill people. I'm saying the punishment for treason is death.
So like the people should do that.
No, because we're agreeing. When the city of Providence sent me in the mail, you owe this car tax, it wasn't a guy with a gun delivering that to my door. It was not. It was the mail guy. And most people just get that in the mail and then they agree. So it's not by force. They put in our heads that if you don't pay tax, you go to jail. That's fear. That's not force. That's fear. That you conjure up in your mind, you agree. They put it in your head. You accepted it. You agree, and now you're acting on that. That's agreement. That's contract. You agree. It's not by force. But it's by force, and we have the divine right to protect our house, our family, our mother, our daughters, our grandmothers. That's why we right to bear arms. Come on my house and ask me that again. Go ahead, you're in my house. Go ahead, do it. See what happens. The issue is, we have all these gangsters who don't do nothing. We have all these activists, all these politicians who don't do anything. They'll let your family suffer because they're getting paid off by the state. They'll let your family suffer because they live a good life, don't have to pay that mortgage. They'll let your family suffer because they got a nice car. They get to call themselves, I'm the chief of this. Oh, I'm running for this position. I'm running for mayor. I'm running for this. And they know the truth. Watch the videos on my Facebook, on my YouTube. You'll see me having conversations with these people about these things. And they'll drop certain keys, meaning they what? They know.
They know.
Don't believe nothing I'm saying. Talk to these people.
What do I know?
Yeah, what do I know? remember we went to City Hall, right? For your house? And we say, oh, we're looking for this. What they say?
Oh, chain of title.
Oh, chain of title, which means what?
They
They know. As most of our people know what chain of title is, what are they gonna tell you? Never heard of it. We went into City Hall, didn't even say anything. They said, oh, you're looking for your chain of title, aren't you? All these people know.
What else supposed to mean?
Obviously,
It means that a chain of title is basically a link of who owned that house. And it should be a link from the original renter, meaning they should have years of records of who owned that house. The problem is, it's not a title, it's a deed of trust, which is not ownership. But they know that people don't know that, so they're just saying one thing and then showing you something else sleight of hand. You disagree with it because you don't know anything. That's what I'm saying. In a nutshell, they know. In a nutshell, we don't. In a nutshell, that's how they're winning. In a nutshell, that's how we're losing. In a nutshell, if you don't change that, we accept it. That's what I'm saying.
It's going to go forever.
Until the people know this. Because if you say it's going to go on forever, and don't say until the people know this, then you're casting a spell and it's going to go on forever. Yeah. Once the people know, get the ropes ready, get the firing squad ready, get the horses ready to pull these people apart.
Nothing's gonna do it with time. We're not doing what you guys do.
Because there's going to be incentive now, not to violate the people, because the people will react.
I have no powers.
Yeah.
Where they power?
Yes. The Bible says he has no power, at least what you give him.
They generated our rules.
Yeah.
The power. The power is how it's done.
Yes.
That's why they got all the power. Because they don't know that.
Yeah. But it's only violence amongst the people who don't know. They're good. They say something, they do something in the pit, knowing that the ignorant people are going to fight about it. Like, oh, there's 19,000 genders. No, there's only 2. And then we're getting into an argument. Like, why not just, if you know what you're saying is true, why not?
Kill it. Kill off the body. What's up with the room? Tell me go down like it's like back to the that knowledge is not correct.
Yeah.
I think it's like battle of information.
It is.
You gotta be also included
Mhm.
in many ways, you know.
Yeah.
Like, what is that thing that
Different trends.
Can you talk about something?
the HR 1242 or something like that? Back to Africa, all that they're trying to push back to Africa.
Oh yeah. Because they're trying to get
Yeah,
natives
the
of the land
off of our
to abandon their land even more.
Instead of having the real immigrants go back to Europe.
Yeah.
which is why when I see Trump talking about all that stuff, it's like, and then when since they're going so hard for that side, and then when they do it, Bill's finally uncovered, like when she was finally uncovered, then they're gonna be like, oh, and it's kind of like cold water in their face.
What are we doing?
Good morning.
Like they're voting so hard against the so-called immigrants, and then when the truth comes out, they're gonna be so it's gonna hurt them bad.
Them and their colleagues.
Yeah, they're pulling up a lot.
Yeah, because
That depends on
they're
us.
going so hard for the so-called like laws and stuff against immigrants. They're gonna go so hard, it's gonna go so far to the point where, and then when the truth comes out, it gives both the truth and them going so hard for what they want to happen.
They know the truth.
Exactly.
They know the truth. They just never really think about it.
Well,
Because you know you're from Italy, France, Portugal,
yeah,
like
exactly. They don't really think about it.
UK.
So when it actually comes to like when everything's on the table, then they're gonna be like,
Yeah, they know themselves because we are Irish American, they call themselves
Yeah.
Italian
Mhm.
American.
So they have a place.
they know.
we are-
They know, but they never really think about it.
Some of those.
No, when they start calling themselves Americans, they're convinced they're Americans.
No,
Yeah.
because the thing is, they feel the law has changed. So now, immigrants can become Americans. It can be anything they choose.
Mhm.
It's like all the old stuff is like done away. Yet
Mhm.
the constitutions and the laws are still based on indigenous English laws, but they don't tell us.
Yeah.
But they use that against us actually.
Mhm.
But just now create this corporation, US corporation laws, which are different.
Mhm.
And they tell you like, oh, you can ascribe to that. When you ascribe to that, you're enslaved.
You're agreeing.
You know what I mean? You're agreeing to something totally different.
Mhm.
So and that's what they broadcast in the media world. So it's like we don't know the original or indigenous laws.
But you're absolutely right, and I always have to point out that there's our people who are claiming to be indigenous, Indian, Native American, and they're chiefs, and they know this and know that, and they're not exposing the truth. They're holding on to it, just like the Europeans are holding on to it for power, which makes us sellouts. And then when we give this information that's a little bit hard to swallow, our people do this. Turn it back on you. Because they don't want to have to deal with this. Because it's so easy for them to say, this is how it is. This
That's
is how it
because,
is.
also because of how people look at it in a religious way. You don't look at it from a Christian standpoint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what used to go to church.
Mhm.
So that one already is a barrier
Yes.
to disseminating that information.
But what you're saying is the very reason why Noble Ali adopted a religious affidavit, so that the people coming from this religious mindset have a way to transfer over to the more civic-minded point of view, basically.
Is there a way for them to have a civic-minded state without the religion?
No.
The religion, the law covers it. Like, without
No.
the religion, there's no basis for it.
Yes, without religion, there's no basis for anything, because there's no separation of church and state, and never has been and never will be. That's why every nation, every government has their own religion, because there is no separation. The only separation, the only clear distinction, is that there will never be no religious test. They can't force you to be part of any religion. That's right in the Constitution. That's the only separation. So it's not a separation.
Is it ruling like Christian nation?
Say again?
Is it a Christian nation right now? America?
So, when you read the treaty of the treaty between us and them, you'll see Article 11 that the United States is not a Christian country. But with their, say again? Yes. But what we have now is based on, when you look at what happened in 1822, 1823 with President James Monroe, the Monroe Doctrine, he was saying that no European powers will have an interest over these colonies. But what happened in 1861 was they still came in and overthrew it. Now it's a Christian country because they overthrew it. It's been influenced with the democracy. But that's not what it's
Because
built
the
on.
basis was for them performing, running away from the religion of the crown.
Yeah, forced religion, yes.
Yeah, forced religion, and then you're so it's
Yes.
right now it's
Yes, that's why Trump was saying I'm a good Christian. They're telling you what it is. They're telling you that the church has
why would they
jurisdictional
accuse
power.
Obama for being Muslim?
Huh?
Why would they accuse Obama for being Muslim?
Because he is. So you have to look at it like this. The public have no idea what we're talking about right now. So to the public, you have to say certain things, or else their minds will just break.
So was he Moorish?
Yeah, he was telling you he's Kenyan. He knows what's up. That's why he said the Constitution is derived from Muslim law.
So they know it so much. That's why Trump was attacking the birth certificate.
Yeah, which the birth certificate makes you a slave of the corporation.
Exactly. So he cannot bring it over. Challenging.
Yeah.
That's what Trump.
And they did that publicly.
Yeah.
Hold on. And then once Obama got out of office, he did like this comedy video where he was at the DMV. He was like, "Oh, can I get a driver's license now? Right to travel?"
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Here's my birth certificate." Playing everybody right in his face.
You understand?
What? Yeah. Right in
Trump makes himself look like an idiot, but he knows exactly what he's doing.
He's not good to play the game good, you know.
So this is the thing I don't
He's a Gemini.
He's on violence. You know,
This is the thing I don't
They say
understand.
very high intelligent guy.
He's
Very
very
intelligent.
smart.
But he plays,
I
he plays numb.
This is how you show people. Go to YouTube, look at his international speeches, like when he's in overseas. Listen to how he speaks. Nowhere near the same as when he's here. Nowhere close to it. That tells you there's a game going on.
So much attack. You have to kind of be mad.
Mhm.
Mad to deal with all the liberal stuff.
Mhm.
Don't say liberal. Because liberty is our salvation.
Exactly, but they use that title.
Connotatively.
They stole that title. Then they're doing it.
They didn't steal it, they distorted it.
Yeah, they stole it.
So yeah, so
And the
liberal,
Statue of Liberty.
a liberal is good.
Yeah,
They say this game is liberal and this and that, all these games.
McCall's confused. Let's just look it up.
When they say, "Oh, I'm a Christian," Christian is just a code word. It's you on the when they tell you you're a Christian, they telling you the secret word because you belong to the society,
Yeah.
the secret society.
Yeah.
They're already telling you what they are. I seen these guys on TV. Oh, I'm a Christian. So they're telling the guys around.
Yeah.
I belong to the secret
That's what they
society.
say.
Yeah.
It's a password.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with the religion. It's a code.
But when we say it, we say where your property is. So this is liberal from Etimon Online. It says generous, also nobly born, noble and free, selfless, magnanimous, admirable, extravagant, unrestrained, befitting free people. So now we're like, oh, those damn liberals, like what are you doing?
But that works. And that's how you have to address them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To know who to talk about. But I get it because it's just a play on words. That's what it is.
It's just someone they use conservative.
What was that?
Social sorcery.
Social engineering.
Democrat, Republican.
Can we talk about our people's hatred for Republicans?
Oh yeah. I seen it on the.
Yeah.
Good, go in. Go ahead, go in.
You are originally Republican.
That's what I always say.
Point
That's
blank,
what
period.
That's why I
Go
go
to
to
the
the
Constitution article. Check out the Constitution.
because everybody black wants to be Republican. Actually, back in the day, you see the Democrats. Like you say, you're taking.
Have you seen those memes?
That's
Like,
exactly what it is.
And actually, KKK was founded because it was Democrats attacking the Republican convention.
Mhm.
Actually, when they were coming, what they were attacking was thinking it's just people. It was Republican black convention.
First of all, the Democrats are only set up to take from you.
Which
But since they give you food stamps and they give you,
you're dealing with President Maine
So they use that term.
the Inquisition.
They use that term. A little bit liberal on the sexual thing. I know people on the raping thing. People on this more, like we are going into like, oh, let's put our hands up for supporting rape. If you guys don't show up, rape goes. You're liberal in this game, you know? The Queens wanna be like fighting for rights for everything. Everybody's gonna be like, I like small boys. I'm gonna start up. Fighting for rights. Hey, I'm liberal. You cannot attack us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You better act liberal. Don't be acting Republican all the day.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? It's like there's no right anymore. Because liberal makes everything like even the most wickedest thing we can consider it, or we can put it right. You know what I mean? We consider it, yeah. There's no like this wrong and right anymore.
Didn't
That's what liberal makes.
didn't they start adding pedophile to the?
Yes,
They started adding pedophile
to
to
the
the.
LGBTQ.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Inquisition operation.
So you allow a party that is aimed to hurt or harm another party.
Right.
They call it mental illness.
And if you're acquiescing,
Wait, no. It used to be. They used to call it a mental illness. Now they're calling it a sexuality,
right.
like a sexual preference.
But how do we allow that preference when it hurts our children?
Because
We're
do not
retarded.
have no doctrine. Like we have no set standard.
Mhm.
No rock.
Yeah.
Have a foundation. Morals is that. Because the purpose of Babylon always is to make any society sodomite. So you see all the guys in jail, they put them in jail like that. This in jail, make them homosexual. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's like that's the whole purpose. That's why the story I like in the Bible about this the day before God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So two guys walking, but they were angels. And people say, "Oh, we have not seen these people in this new territory. Who are these guys?" But the Lord knew them. He said, "Oh, these are my guys who just came to visit you." And the guys came, surrounded the house. They said, "Bring us those two guys. We want to have sex with you." And the guy was like, "No, I can't open for you. I don't want to break down the house." So Lord said, "Okay, hold on. I've got two daughters who are 16 and they are virgins. I'm going to give them to the crowd." The crowd refused the order. They gonna want those two guys. So the guys told Lord, "Okay, Lord, by the way, we are angels and we came to destroy Sodom." And immediately he blinded those people who were at the door. So they couldn't find the door. And he told Lord, "Come on, you and your family, and let's run, because we're about to burn the whole city." That's how Sodom and Gomorrah was burned. But it shows you the character of Sodom and Gomorrah that they wanted the guys. It's so bad. Now, I remember when I was in Chicago one time, I was driving, and this guy stopped my car. He was
You want to come up? Want to come on camera?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Come on camera.
Oh, so I was walking in Chicago, and I saw I was new. I just landed in the country, so I landed through the airport in Chicago. I don't know it's called O'Hare or something. So when we were driving, there was this guy's dressed like high heels. What do you call it? Yeah,
Like cross-dresser?
Cross-dressing, like what do they call it? The orientation.
Transgender?
Yeah, transgender. And there was like three of them, and there were like 6 wives. And when we were about to drive, they stopped the car like, "Hey, slow down."
In their heels?
And they were so massive, like basketballers, that now it's become a point that you're gonna go to a public restroom and you're gonna find two big guys dressed like women who are gonna rape.
Can I talk about that?
That's
You know what I mean?
happened.
And
So even men are in the position like women, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the jail has come outside.
There's two things I'd like to add. In a lot of governmental buildings, there's female bathroom and then all genders. No males anymore.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to City Hall, downtown Providence, and then go into the police station. Same thing.
Mhm.
And then Noble Raleigh said, there's not going to be many men around anymore. And at first, I didn't know what he meant. Now I get it. So much so that your child will go to the store and run back and say, "Ma, I seen a man."
I seen that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Women too. You can't now even in the club you can't tell like who's a woman up to. You know how to do it.
Let me see your birth certificate.
No, they changed it though. Now there's an X birth certificate. Yeah, well, you don't pick a gender. It's gender fluid.
Right now on YouTube there's about like 5 people who like murdered their ex because they came out from the club or whatever.
And they found out it
They
was
found out that it wasn't, and they had to pick the woman who had violence because they're like, "Yo, you tricked me."
You're eliminating the right to free choice.
Yeah, free choice because I didn't choose this. You were
Yeah.
setting me up.
Yeah.
That's Sodom and Gomorrah. That's where we're headed. So, and that's the basis of not having a foundation of like, if it's the what do you call it, the law, like in Islam we call it the Sharia law, right?
Yeah.
And in Christianity calls it Mosaic law. That was both in Sharia law and Mosaic law, they are at least a standard. But if we don't have a standard, standard, where people would know, okay, we can't go to foundation. And that's why with the Republican stuff, that's why Trump had to say, hey, I'm a nationalist now. Because to be a nationalist, though you think it's being KKK, because KKK is a nationalist, but even the Moorish is nationality. Yeah, nationalist. So you see, they've taken the good stuff, avoided it, and everything is like an inverted society. So what we're gonna do? All of them, like Frederick Douglass was Republican, Malcolm X, all of them. But right now, the guy who spoke on the Trump convention was a black guy. He did a very beautiful speech. You could imagine the pressure, you know. Right now, you can't even say Trump, nothing. Like I tell people, like in my country, we're trying to build a wall between Kenya and Ethiopia because the Somalians have a different agenda than us, and they're trying to enforce it differently. And all Kenyans are for it. They're for building a wall. But if you ask them, should they build a wall over there? They're like, no, because I'm trying to come over there. You know, I mean, which national people would not want sovereignty? Because remember, the New World Order is to remove borders. That's the only way they're going to attack your sovereignty. First, they already attacked your kings, queens, already done with that. Put you in a small border. Now they're going to attack that national sovereignty. So even if you have a bank or army, you guys not stand a chance. So America is the last frontier to destroy national sovereignty. Once they destroy national sovereignty of America, and everywhere it becomes, the whole world is a ghetto, like I keep saying. Now, America will not have rights more than Kenyan, or he cannot bear arms. He'll be like told like a Kenyan or a Brazilian. They want to make it like that. So whoever rules now is United Nations. But America is like, damn, we're in a privileged position, and now we're about to lose this through this trickery. So everybody's going back to this nationalism. But there's stupid people who are doing it through KKK or racism, which I don't think Trump, that's what he's intending to. He's just saying, hey, if you want to get vetted, just get vetted and come into the country. Even anybody, even if you live in Argentina, you don't want criminals to come in. You want people who are outstanding people. If you're president of any nation, that's what you're going to do. You'll be like, no.
In Canada, you have to be
They're exercising powers that they don't lawfully have because we won't do it.
Yeah.
Since we won't say, okay, in order for you to be a citizen of our country, we're going to search you. Since we're not doing it, they're doing it.
Yeah.
And they're doing it according to their standards.
Exactly.
Which is the problem. Because we want to be Negroes, black, colored, rappers, drug dealers, Instagram models, and singers. We don't want to be statements, politicians, educators, and actually teach someone something. Yeah, we want to flex big gold on Instagram.
And what about this movement in terms of the Aborigines in Australia? Because they won, right? They were recognized. Though Australia does its things, then they're charged with a different law. You know, the indigenous Aborigines. I think it should. We're about to bring this movement to something like that. Whereby whatever they'll be talking politically, now it doesn't affect us.
But that's what the rights of
so if people even see it, they'll be like, okay, this Aborigines, indigenous.
Yeah, but the indigenous people have to come together.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. In Australia, they did it and fought it for so long in court until everyone in the world knows about it. But over here, the movement hasn't caught up.
So everybody's saying you sound very enlightened, and it's good to hear non-Moorish American express the level of understanding. We're all Moors.
Just because my house doesn't have the hook.
Yeah, different cultures.
It's a little bit more.
You're just on the other side of the empire, like.
Yeah. You know, it's a lot of people say that they're not Moors and XYZ, but it's just just cultural differences. It's like a raising your territory.
Just more aware.
Yeah, we're all Moors. It's just different territories.
This is the uniting of Asia.
He said from east of Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what somebody said. East of Mexico.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Republic, right? Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution reads what? My lovely assistant. With heels on. You're actually a woman.
The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me process this because it's so complicated. Let's say democracy. Let's say democracy anywhere in the Constitution. I'm confused. I'm so confused. This is two parties. I'm so confused. So that would be waging war against the Constitution because the Constitution says republic. You're saying democracy, which we just read that's treason, right? So what's the punishment for all these Democratic politicians? Yeah.
That's why there's rising anti-Semitism and all that. Because it's like it's ordinance will come under the democratic liberal umbrella. It's not the people of the republic. The people who really would love the republic would like to be Republican at least, because Republican, you see, at least recognizes religion. I think when I'm over there, I forget my train of thought. Camera just messes me up. Maybe I'll get better.
Yeah.
This is very difficult.
So this was a training manual released by the United States War Department in what year was this? It was released in 1928. Who was alive then? Don't drop it. So this is training manual 2025, number 118 to 120, defining what a democracy is. A democracy is a government of the masses. Of means over, right? A government of the masses. Authority derived through mass meeting or any form of direct expression results in mobocracy. Mobocracy. Then I put Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Mob is a disorderly crowd. Yes.
So there's a difference between the masses and people.
It says a government of the masses is. I'll read right. Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish this, and then we'll go. Just hold that. Right. Mobocracy is the mobbing of ruling class. Attitude towards property is communistic, negating property rights, meaning no property rights. Attitude towards law is that the will of the majority shall regulate, whether it is based on deliberation or governed by passion, prejudice, and impulse without restraint or regard to consequence. Wow. Results in demagogism, licensing, agitation, discontent, and anarchy. Hold on.
Yeah, look.
Wait. A demagogue is a leader who makes use of popular prejudice and false claims and promises in order to gain power. Oh, this is page 52 of my book. Are you confused about law? So you can read along. Is it over there?
That's not just. There's so much in that book. Like if you can't afford a whole library, that your book is
Now, so I'm reading the first line of democracy again. A government of the masses. Now here's the first line of a republic. Authority is derived through the election by the people of public officials best fitted to represent them. Now, which one sounds better in the first line? Attitude towards property is respect for laws and individual rights and a sensible economic procedure. Attitude towards law is the administration of justice in accord with fixed principles and established evidence with a strict regard to consequences. A greater number of citizens and extent of territory may be brought within its compass. That's Article 4, Section 4. Avoids the dangerous extremes of either tyranny or mobocracy. Now, is it a democracy or mobocracy? Or a republic avoids that? Hence, President James Monroe, his Monroe Doctrine.
That's all. You got that from your book, but where do you get that?
This is in my book. This I got this from RB Bay, publications.com. They have this article where they show that it's from the United States War Department. Okay. November 28th, 2018. Results in statesmanship, liberty, reason, justice, contentment, and progress. It is the standard form of government throughout the world. The Republic of Mexico, Republic of Cuba, the People's Republic of China,
But they actually can.
the Republic
They
of Cuba.
use that word as a negative. Because everybody's got a republic. United States tells you,
Gives them freedom, gives them democracy.
yeah.
I had a memo, I forget, by which president, it's stated something, I'll bring it up next time. It stated something like, we have a problem whereby I think it's a president who was saying, we have a problem with the black population. Thinking that Republican conservatism means resorting back to slavery and war. And basically, that's what they couldn't sell back to the black people because black people were considering the word conservatism, meaning conserve slavery or conserve old ideas, stuff like that. So it was kind of tricky because when they're selling the democratic agenda, they came with like, okay. And first of all, people don't even know that the Democrats never signed even one thing for us to get free. All the Republicans signed all the bills they voted for. So, but under the Democratic umbrella, when they're selling it to Africans like we are changing this slavery. They're moving to a better time. But this new thing has it's gonna be satanic at the end of it because it has no laws, it's more.
It's better for them.
Yeah, it's better for them because it's destabilizing the republic. True republic,
An example of that is
I think more black American or black people in America look up for Democrats after the wake up segregation because I think Democrat was the party in power when they signed the law for integration in schools. So I think a lot of black people look at it that way that Democrat is for them.
Right.
But they're playing them.
Yes.
Right.
That's how a lot of black people look at it. They don't look it from back from when Republic can fight for them so slavery can abolish. They just look at what happened right away when Democrat break segregation for them. Like black kids can go to same school. It was from Kennedy to Lyndon Johnson who signed that bill. That was recent as 1960. It's somewhere around there. Yes, civil rights. So that's why a lot of black people look at Democrats as the party.
As a savior.
Yeah.
And now
People
this
It's all that,
this family, I don't know what the people see on that family.
Trump family?
No, the come here from Boston. What's their? He just said the name.
Oh, Kennedy.
Kennedy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know. It's Democrats. People see on Kennedy.
Right. They're put up on a pedestal.
Yeah.
All of them are.
They still collecting taxes. The Kennedys get the percentage every whiskey sell in this country.
was Kennedy under the Democratic or Republican?
I know Kennedy was trying to reverse what the Federal Reserve did by bringing back the gold. And that's why he was killed.
That's why he was killed because he made that speech was against secret society.
Yeah. He said you can't fool and inform people. Instead of just saying what it was, he was trying to get the people ready for what's happening. Yeah.
Because of that, I think that's why all these people vote Democrat.
Yeah. Because they still don't. They don't have the historical reference points.
Yes.
They can't see what's coming after the.
Their grandfather was prohibition. Their father was selling whiskey.
Yeah.
They got to have all this money, and now they still have.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
They collect percentage of all the whiskey come to this country. That's why they got all this money in this country. People.
We need more
things backwards here.
We need more people sharing the information that we have. This is great. Keep going.
Putting the pieces together.
We need a podcast.
Yeah.
Because we all have different
different ways we came into knowledge, so we all have different like paths we took. So we all
So
have,
we really have sellouts.
Well, I can show you stuff with a signature on it. No. Really good.
Umbrella. Yeah, because America is not a country. It's a corporation. It's a continent, actually. It's a continent.
Two continents.
So they can put, a corporation can have anybody there is CEO. So they, because he belongs to those secret societies, and now is at 33 or 32 Freemasons. So they put him there. He's a smart man.
Yeah.
He's a constitutional lawyer. So he's smart. He knows about the law. And that's why he's the corporation president. So they can get anybody for anywhere.
What?
Long as belong to that secret society.
So you can basically
And they use it against us because as soon as he got there, no, we got power. Yes, we got power. We got power.
So you can basically
That's
say
when this
any president that
more
was
black.
up.
Start giving more blacks.
Even before it.
And then Obama is following. If you see what he did, he followed actually from the other president who are Republicans. He followed the same system under the Democrat umbrella.
Mhm.
It's so weird when you're reading the Democratic, did you notice that you mentioned comedy?
Right.
These people who rule the Democratic agenda for Jews are all. They've always been doing, trying to sell this communist agenda.
Right.
Well, they were branding it as socialist.
So, we're about to talk about the sellouts. Because you're talking about Obama and all these hiring people, right? It's local. So, this guy right here,
Bringing out the
he's an
fire.
Indian chief right there. Beard is half his mine, skin is just as dark as mine. And look who else is claiming against him. Okay, listen. All right.
I got a picture over here.
So,
Yeah, go.
this guy right here,
Take whatever you want.
he claimed to be a chief of some Indian tribe.
Will you bring one?
Yeah, him right there. Beard. Look who's also an Indian.
Yeah, I took a picture somewhere, I forget what they got.
There's way more pictures of these pale skinned people claiming to be native, and they're accepting it, right? Also, this document right here.
I gotta get it on camera to give her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cherokee.
Cherokee leader.
No. This is from the Attorney General.
Why Europeans always trying to Cherokee though?
I know.
It's always Cherokee.
American is a round corporation, right? A round corporation known as the American. So that dark skinned dude is the leader of this. Claiming to be Aboriginal, but it's a round corporation, right? Then it goes in how that only their descendants can be part of this because they're sellouts, right? Eliminates any claim of anything that they have. They can't claim anything. So in the public, he'll say, we're claiming land under Brown University because it belongs to our ancestors. They're beating the drum walking down the street, burning the people's energy, right? Meanwhile, this document exists where they waive all their claims. It's a show, right? The state laws of Rhode Island applies to them, which I read earlier that Rhode Island's a colony, right? So these Europeans are foreigners. We're saying their laws apply to you and your people.
That's right.
They use it.
And their leaders signed it. But Jamal, this is from 1978. Okay, let me show you something recent. Oh, hold on. Don't read that name. What's that say right there? Gina Raimondo, who's the current governor of Rhode Island, right? 2016, you see that, right? Gave this person power. Who's the person I just showed you? Right? Signed it herself.
It's so
right?
cold.
This is him accepting it. This is his free national name, his Indian name right there. Then he says he's commercially known as this, which means what? He knows what the birth certificate is. He knows it's a commercial instrument. He knows that's a strong name. And he's saying, I'm this. Meaning, yes, yeah, master, you keep calling me Toby. I'm not Kuth Kinte, call me Toby. Right? Then he says he's appointed by who? Right? By that person, you remember, right? So if this is your land, right? This is your land. I'm a foreigner and I'm a European. Can I appoint you to any position? How? Unless you're a sellout, right? All right.
Because you are the owner, you are the rightful owner.
What's that right there? That's the same name, right? See that red signature with a red thumbprint? Meaning he knows, right? Same thing. Sellouts.
What was this guy?
Yeah, right on the
Right
corner.
on the other
Oh,
side.
yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
wall.
Of course. He could, so
Just
now,
to block the rest of us.
He's
Exactly.
seen him at the mall.
we've seen it multiple times.
Yeah.
So now what he gets to do is, I'm the chief, see, I got documents from the steel around, they recognize us. So now in the system where we're trying to fight, and Moore's getting all his pushback,
They
they're
know the
getting
law.
recognized, the dummies are gonna go with the people that easy route. It's easy. But they're selling you to the slaughter. Proof. Don't believe nothing I'm saying. Ever. Look me up. Look them up. Do research on everybody. They'll lie straight to your face. And then when you know something, they'll say, oh, come have this meeting with us. Because now they're trying to recruit you. And they did the same thing to me. Yeah.
Right.
Trying to say, oh, come to this Chiefs meeting. I go to the Chiefs meeting. There's all Europeans on the walls. Something ain't right.
Yeah.
We'll never sleep.
You're like, I'm not in the right place. I gotta get
They try to get your ego too. They play into people's egos when they find out you're. Yeah.
I'm saying in your other book.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna get one.
The sellout is real. And you'll hear them say, this videos of him. You'll hear him, I'll write his name down for you later so you can look it up. You'll hear him say, the de jure, the Constitution, the Republic, meaning he knows.
So good.
Yeah, but he'll never teach the people. Because then, so when you read this, they get to say who is and who's not part of the tribe, meaning they're gatekeepers. Where tribe means family. I can't say you're not my cousin if you're my blood. So they're playing people already because they know they don't know, right? So they get the power of saying who can and cannot be part of this tribe. So that's power, right? Because they're saying who gets what. But if we're all Aboriginal and Indigenous, why do I got to be recognized by you? Why do you have to accept me? If it's my bloodline, that's plain people. Then they'll say, we have a rightful claim because the state never got a treaty with us. But then when you read the Constitution, it says states can't enter into treaties. So they're already lying to your face. But they know the people don't know. You know what I'm saying?
They showed us the documents last time.
Yeah. So when you see these people, oh, peace, and then keep it moving. Oh, you're a sellout, and then keep it moving. You can do whatever you want. But just know who you're speaking to. Because then, if you agree,
Sign your life.
have fun.
I have those screenshots too.
I got screenshots too. Because these people are running games. They're playing.
So when is this movie that's coming out? Is it?
Oh, Robin Hood.
We were gonna go tonight if you're interested.
It's late, though.
Robin Hood?
Yeah, Robin Hood.
It's a movie about the Moors.
Right, it's a movie about the Moors.
That was one made a few years ago with, Costner.
Oh, here in
Yes, that description.
Providence.
Okay.
Just came out?
Yep, it just came out this weekend. So in the summary of the movie, it talks about Jamie Foxx's character and how he's a Moorish commander.
Moorish commander who trains this European who used to be a Knights Templar to fight against the corrupt European crown.
What time you guys going?
There's one at 4 and then there's one at 9.
No, I gotta.
I get it. You don't want to hang out with them?
We were thinking about doing it next
I
weekend.
just made compromise
So-
to go do something with
It's not gonna be playing in Massachusetts.
Yeah, it should be. It should be, yeah. Yeah.
So we got.
They're going to be dropping keys.
Always.
They always hide information in plain sight.
Are you,
And then
do you want to continue with this? 'Cause
No, we can
the online people is.
What's his name? It's not here today.
Leonidas.
Yeah.
Do you want to close out?
Yeah, so we're going to close out on the video. Thank everyone for tuning in. Access to the just read from the challenging the car taxing, that's going to be made available to the public soon. Just know it gets real in the field. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for supporting. Again, if you want any of the books that we referenced, they're pretty much on my website because I put a lot of this information in these books because a lot of these books are expensive. So for people to have access to it, I made it significantly cheaper. Explain everything. I put in notes, annotations, where to find stuff. Feel free to support, even though you watching is supporting, because you're free in your mind. Yeah, feel free to do so. If you want to give us some gold and silver, feel free to do so too, because we accept your money as well. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace. Peace.